Hello and welcome along to another edition of Isolation Interviews for Hospital Radio Reading and for my YouTube channel. And I'm super excited. My guest today is a truly talented actor. He's done it all, the fantastic Joe McFadden. Joe, welcome. How are you? It's so good to speak with you.
Hello. Yeah, I'm good. I'm currently in Bath. We're going down really well at Theatre Royal here in Bath and getting standing ovations every night, which is always nice. It's funny because it doesn't happen in every venue. We were in Poole last week, and it's a bit of an older audience. So someone said, "Don't be expecting them to get to the feet because they just don't hear." I think when you're that little bit older, standing up means a lot more. But here in Bath, it's going down a storm, and yeah, they seem to be really enjoying it, which is good.
Now, you must be super excited. We're here to talk about your latest play, The Shawshank Redemption. People may have seen the film, but if they haven't, tell us a bit about, what it's all about and who you play.
Yeah, so I play a character called Andy Dufresne, who has been he's convicted of the double murder of his wife and her lover at the beginning of the play, and he is interned in the Shawshank Penitentiary with a bunch of dark, brutal, horrible characters, and he has been given two life sentences for those murders. And I need to be careful. I've been giving away the end of the show, so I need to be careful. He protests his innocence. And all the way through, it's him surviving in this very dark, very brutal atmosphere. And he meets a character called Red Redding, who in the film was played by Morgan Freeman. And we have the brilliant Ben on Wickway, and it's the friendship that they form. Red is this prison fixer who can get things for the prisoners, and they form this quite unlikely, slowly paced. It's all set over like 25 years, so it was quite an interesting rehearsal period. Saying, okay, how many years has this been? It's been 3, it's been 5, it's been 10. So it's sort of picking your way through all that. We also have Bill Ward, who many people will know from Coronation Street, the wonderful Bill Ward, who plays Warden Stammis, who's brilliantly sort of evil, but also sort of really interesting because he sort of justifies the awful, corrupt things he does because he's this very devout Christian. And we're having a brilliant time and going on stage every night and playing this. The original novella was written by Stephen King, and as you say, it was also a movie, which is the most popular film of all time. So there was quite a bit of pressure going into this, and people's expectations, rightly so, are so high. So our job, and hopefully we've managed it, is to give them everything that they want from the film, but with bits of the novella thrown in, and with sort of our take and our way of seeing this brilliant story, and sort of maybe making them see this story in a slightly different, slightly novel, hopefully more interesting way. And yeah, the people who love the film come along and see it, and they all say, I didn't know how you were going to do it, but it works just as well as the movie, which is high praise because it's one of my favorite films. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing for the past 6 months.
I mean, the fantastic Bill Ward, I had him on my show last year. He's obviously he always seems to get to play these really nasty roles. Yet he's such a lovely guy in real life. Same with
Yeah.
yourself. I mean, do you quite enjoy getting those evil roles where you get to completely be different to your own personality?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's a bit of a holiday in a way because you get a chance to completely not be yourself. I mean, my character is he's very much out of his depth, and he's in this atmosphere where he doesn't really know how to cope. But Bill, as you say, is brilliant and is so different from how he is in real life because he's such a lovely, energetic, brilliant man, and this guy is. True, it does some really horrendous things in the play. But the brilliant thing about Bill's acting, he's such a wonderful actor that you can tell it's all rooted in reality, and he's justified these things to themselves and to himself in the way that true psychopaths do. And they're such wonderful parts. I mean, yeah, the baddies are the best parts. I absolutely maintain, definitely.
Now, obviously, you'll be coming to the Wycombe Swan, very local to us here, in March.
Mm.
You must be loving getting to tour around the country, seeing places you maybe don't get to visit. I mean, what are some places
Yeah.
you're looking forward to visiting?
I love coming back to High Wycombe, to Wycombe Swan. I was there a few years ago with Leroy doing pantomime there. I love. I'm going back to Glasgow. We played Edinburgh last week. There's so many gorgeous, like Belfast. The Opera House in Belfast is beautiful. Bath. I'd been to Bath, but I'd never been to the theatre here, and it's just so gorgeous. But then, so we'll play these kind of intimate Victorian theatres, and then we'll play places like the Millennium Centre in Cardiff, which is just huge. So you almost have to have two different shows for them, where the big houses you're getting out there, and people can understand what's going on. But then in these little intimate theatres, it has to be all be kind of brought right down, and that's sort of a real challenge. And it's one of the best things about doing a touring play or a musical, is that the space changes it every week. I was in the West End last year doing 222, and the show's pretty much the show, and the audience varies slightly. But with a show like this that does travel around, it does get informed every single week by the house that you're in, and also the personalities of the audience changes as well. So sometimes they're really vocal throughout, and you think, oh, they're loving it, and then other times they're quieter, and then at the end they're really loud and they'll jump to their feet. So it really sort of keeps you on your toes, and it keeps things really interesting, which is brilliant.
I mean, outside of this, you've done a lot of theatre. I mean, I was saying to you before I came to see you, the house on Cold Hill, which was a Peter James play. You starred alongside Rita Simons. What was that like to get to do, and again, to get to tour? That must have been great.
It was good, yeah. It was really nice. I mean, the difficult thing about doing ghost stories and scaring people on stage, it's quite a challenge, and not many plays do it. The interesting thing about Peter James's writing is his fans love the novel so much, and they come along to see these characters and this story brought to life. And it was set in this haunted house, and it was kind of scary. I think it was more interesting in the relationships and what this family was going through. But then when I did 222 last year, it's genuinely terrifying. One of my favourite things is watching the front two rows, and they would be sitting sometimes with their hands over their ears because they didn't want to be scared. And I just think doing that in a theatre, the Women in Black does it brilliantly as well. It manages to terrify people, and I love that. I love having that effect over an audience, because ultimately that's why you come to a ghost story, is to be scared. So yeah, it's yeah. And the great thing about being in Shawshank is the audience say, "Oh, we felt like we were in the prison with you." Gary McCann, our designer, has this very stark, sort of grim square, and we push on the things that we need to create the different scenes. And we have a brilliant lighting designer as well in what's his name, Chris Davey, and it looks really filmic. It looks like almost like you're watching a film. It's all sort of lit from the side, and yeah, it's great placing an audience in this world, and for them to forget about their phones and forget about I just think there's something really kind of exciting about theatre, and that's certainly why I love it. Is you're sat with a bunch of people all watching the same thing. There's no pause button, and you're there for the ride. There's no getting up halfway through to make yourself a cup of tea or go to the loo. And in a play like Shawshank, it really helps us. I think it really works that people feel like they're being held captive as much as the actors are.
Now, obviously, if anyone wants to come and see you, they must. It's going to be fantastic. You're there from Tuesday the 10th of March through until Saturday the 14th of March. So they need to go and check out the Wycombe Swan website for all tickets and all those sorts of details, because it's going to be fantastic. Now, aside from that, obviously, a big part of your life, we must talk a little bit about Holby. How was that? Because obviously, that was a big part of your life. Obviously, the show's no longer going, but you must hold a special place in your heart for that show.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It was such a lovely, lovely job. I mean, again, being an actor, most of the time you're away from home. And on Holby, they filmed it half an hour from my house, so I got a chance to go home every night. So that alone made it a lovely job. But also the people were just so lovely. I made some sort of real friends for life on that show, just because everyone was so happy. It was such a nice thing to be a part of, and the guests that came in were always like, "Oh God, you all seem like you're really enjoying it," and we absolutely were. And it's a shame that it's gone, but everything has a shelf life, doesn't it? It was a similar thing on Heartbeat, because I was in that when it actually finished, and it's just great that these shows are so loved, but eventually they run their course, and you have to make way for new things.
I mean, were you? I mean, obviously, your character met a kind of a sad ending. Were you? Was that hard? Because I know some actors say that when they're on a long-running, soap or drama, and their character
Mm.
dies, they feel like they are grieving as well because they've lost something. They a person that's been in their life for a while.
You grieve the money. um, Not really. I mean, I think if you're going to leave a long running show like that, and I'd been in it for 4 years at that point, it's better to have a bit of impact. I felt the same when I left a show called Take the High Road, like a long time ago. And they said, "Oh, can we kill you?" And I was like, "Yeah, please." And it was a really grisly death. And it really sort of shook things up. And, I was married to Essie at the time, and Fletch, Alex Walkinshaw, was my best mate. And it had real repercussions. And as an actor, that's sort of the best thing that you can hope for, is that, I suppose it's like life, isn't it? You hope that people miss you. You hope that your passing has a bit of impact and that people remember you fondly. And it all just worked out so well because, I think I got killed and then that week was the final of Strictly. So I have no doubt that me getting bumped off in Holby absolutely meant that all the Holby fans, or a lot of the Holby fans, picked up the phone and helped me go on to win that show. That and maybe a wee bit of the dancing, but I think, yeah, it was. It all just worked out well. It was all written in the stars, and it was sad leaving it, but then it finished a couple of years later. And as I say, I've still got friends that I talk to that were on it, and yeah, it's remembered fondly, and yeah, that's the best that you can hope for.
And you mentioned Strictly, of course. A very late congratulations on that. But I mean,
Thank you.
is that something that you've continued with? Is dancing something that you still enjoy?
Yeah, I mean, I do it in pantomimes. Now there's this thing in pantomimes where you do the famous TikTok dances of the year. So I'll be doing like a little bit of NSYNC or various things. There was like Lady Gaga when I was up in Aberdeen. So I do still get a chance to bust some moves now and again. And I've recently gotten on TikTok, and that's the place to be doing all these viral dances. Some of the youngsters, some of the ensemble on the pantomime were like, "You have to get on TikTok," and I was like, "Show me how to do it." He literally had to show me how to post things. So that's kind of the extent of my dancing. But it's nice to be able to do it now and again. I mean, it's the difficult thing is when you win a show like that, everyone assumes that you're a dancer, and I'm absolutely not, and never have been a dancer. So I can do the odd steps, but I take quite a long time to learn it. So when I was learning pantomime, the dance for the pantomime, the choreographer said, "And this is the dance." He showed me the dance, and then he expected me to know it, and I was like, "Oh no, it's going to take me at least a week." And he was like, "Oh," like it was completely mind blowing. So I find that people's expectations are super high, but they very quickly learn that I'm not a dancer, much to their disappointment a lot of the time.
I mean, I think people forget that you spend a whole week rehearsing for that
Ah,
one show.
yeah,
And I mean,
yeah.
how was that? I mean, how do you get your head into that mindset of, right, we've got to
Oh,
learn this dance?
yeah. I remember Katya saying to me, I think one day I was like, "Oh, great! I'm going to be able to bust out a paso doble," and she was like, "Oh no, you'll only know 4 steps from the paso. Like you'll know how to do knee walks, and you'll know how to do a bit of shaping, and so you're only learning the steps that you need to learn, which is a bit of a swivel. Yeah. So you absolutely don't. You're not an aficionado of any of these dances at all. But yeah, I can do." I can do a whisk, I can do a botafogo, but when do you get a chance to do those in life? Yeah. So it's an interesting one, and I keep saying I'm going to go along and do some dance classes because I do enjoy it. I genuinely do enjoy it, and my love for it did grow doing that show. So I think this year I'm going to go along and do some tap classes. But I know that people are going to think their expectations are going to think they're going to be thinking that I can pick it up really quickly, and then they're going to be like, "What's going on with him?" But that's fine. It's good for the ego to have it punctured now and again.
Now, obviously, we are going out on hospital radio here at the Royal Berks in Reading. And
Mm,
I mean,
mm.
for you, what would any messages you'd like to say to, first of all, the amazing NHS staff, but
Oh,
also to the
yeah.
patients in hospital? What would you like to say?
I suppose just keep your chin up, and things are going to get better, and you're going to get better. And the NHS are wonderful. That was the great thing about doing Holby, was I got a chance to work quite closely with these amazing surgeons, because my character was a surgeon. So I'd be doing these operations, and you'd have like an eye specialist or an orthopedic specialist, and just meeting them, and how brilliant they were and how caring they were. And I think we're so lucky that we're alive right now in this day and age, because medicine is just it's mind blowing what they can do. So yeah, try and keep your chin up, and know that things are going to get better. That's all I would say.
And of course, when they're better, they need to come and see you in the Shawshank Redemption at the Wycombe Swan from the 10th to the 14th.
If you need cheering up, come and join us in the prison for a couple of hours. It's some people's idea of a good night out. So yeah, if you fancy it, come along and see us.
Joe, it's been an absolute honour and a pleasure. Thank you for giving up your time, and you're welcome back anytime.
Not at all. Oh, bless your heart. Cheers, Matthew.